So the original narcissism video that I posted was, or replied upon, was a month after this video, where now when narcissism meets authenticity. So I'm actually curious on how the people who saw that first video react when they see now this, because I mean, just again, no offense to, the professionals who were in this field before. Like, I have no like ill will or resent for, whatever, if that's what you took away from the first video. But again, just, I don't know what category I'm gonna fall into. Like, if you watch this video, it's just like, there's the narcissistic whisperer. It's just like doctors. You said, Dr. Ramani, you said at the end of the video that, you're realizing just how valuable it is to be authentic, to be able to ward away these people. Like, and you said a lot of men figure it out or become this at 50 or in their 50s. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm 40 now, so that's huge relief to hear that maybe I'm actually ahead in the game on something. So at least I got something to tell my parents. Like, hey, you thought I was so far behind. Dr. Romney just kind of told me inadvertently that I'm doing better in other things. I mean, again, that's just like my personality. And again, when I threw in the Williams syndrome, yeah, and it just, I have to be very careful, or just, very mindful of when I try to explain this experience in my life, where, like, so many people that I meet for the first time, like you, Dr. Romney, said, be careful. Like, the narcissist will go behind your back if you're trying to be this authentic, narcissistic whisperer, truth teller. Like, just, can we just stop making more categories and simplify it into, hey, authentic is just, I am just like you. So if you're calling me a narcissist, then yes, you are a narcissist. If you think you're a narcissist, then I'm a narcissist. If, it's just like, it's not becoming something else. It's simplifying and finding the connection to the other person. That's the only way to heal these wounds. Because I mean, again, just this old method is just, this is 11 months ago. So I'm actually just like anxious to see how your advice on everything narcissism just keeps progressing. But like I said, I'm just making these videos because, as somebody who's been told, like, you were like so real, but like in a good way. And I'm just like, what do you mean in a good way? And now I know, like, it's just like, people are just like, what is that guy on? And that's what my parents always say. Just like, yeah, all these people just think like you're on drugs. And I'm just like, really? Like, what kind of people just like give me a hug and tell me like, oh my God, like, you're like so refreshing, and then go behind my back and say like, so it's just, there's the narcissistic, I don't know, maybe that's something else. But again, those are just my parents. That's their personal view. So if I'm gonna sit there and be like, "Ow, you're being the narcissist," it's just like, that's gonna get us nowhere. It got me nowhere. And so when I came across the quote, the day that a child realizes all adults are imperfect, they become an adolescent, and the day that they forgive them is when they become an adult. And it was that really made me just like, oh, it just changed my life. And I realized, like, I am still an adolescent going around just like pointing my finger. And so if you'd like some progressive advice on this field of narcissism. Just be you. Don't fall into the trap of like being what somebody tells you to be or like what you should be. Use that as like a baseline and just be like, okay, that's what people think I should be. Okay. At least now I know like how far away from like a normal spectrum, like that's what it is. So from somebody who claims to be a self-centered narcissist who probably sounds like a self-centered like narcissist, I'm just human, flesh and blood, just like you. Granted, I may be a different gender or whatnot, but I bleed red. I love with my heart and with all my soul and just with all my being, because I've been loved by everybody. Essentially because I've just been me. And the irony is the people I just have the hardest time feeling the love that I get from everybody else is like, it was like my direct family. But then again, like I said, when I came across that quote, it gave me a new carrot to chase to fix not their narcissism, but my narcissism. Where it's just like, I'm still the victim. Like, it's just so, like, use that. Just, hey, if you are just now realizing that all these people are imperfect or you're imperfect, then welcome to adolescence. And if you want just a speed course free of charge, because I don't think that bettering yourself and being the best person you should be is something that you should have to worry about paying for. So again, no offense to you doctors, I don't have a clinical degree, so maybe that's just a failsafe, but this is just my own personal belief. And like I said, I've gotten to the point where I'm past authenticity. I'm at a level of, like, if you watch my videos, I call it godliness. I am the second coming of Jesus Christ. So you tell me how crazy on the spectrum that is. And then, I'll be watching these videos waiting for your comments on this. So thank you for just, the work that you guys have done in this field. But just please listen to me and understand that just doing comedy also was the biggest lesson on just how one word, words offer the means to meaning. And for those who will listen, the enunciation of the truth. And the truth is there's something wrong within all of us that we just have a tough time meaning. So, words like freedom, justice, and all that stuff, that's not just a word, that's perspective. And in the comic world, that's called a trigger word. As comics, you realize certain words are triggers. And so, if you want to, again, do that. I used to teach comedy. That I might charge a little bit for. But again, that is the ultimate, roadmap to becoming your true authentic self, is just building that relationship with the comic within you, because we all have a story, and, tragedy plus time equals comedy. Again, I just use simple formulas. I don't go by the textbook clinical thing that doctors 50 years ago are using to teach. I learned what's out there and I applied my own self-knowledge. Bruce Lee said all knowledge is self-knowledge, and that we can't just just sit and we must apply. We got to test it and stuff like that. So again, I'm just 11 months away. I may be eating my words by 1 month, but again, it's just Dr. Romney. This was before all this chaos started happening. But again, it is just my theory that if we can just collectively work to try to just twist or just be more mindful of these particular words that we use to label the other person, when it's, like you said, I don't think you said it in this video, but I'm sure you're going to say it. Just, in psychology, it's just, anything that you're saying bad about people is what you're seeing, or you're, just verbally expressing like, hey, even though I'm saying like that person's this, it's just, yeah, I'm at the point where I'm smart enough to know that this person is just hitting step one. Like, oh, I'm imperfect, but they're still a child. They don't realize that they are the imperfect adult. So this is just my big pang theory on just how this all started and just how we can fast forward to a better time and catch up to where we should have been had we just kind of had the authenticity to say, hey, yeah, I learned this in school, but, I'm going to take this and I'm going to use this to further that technique or, make my own twist or, maybe find a way not to do it. But again, just so many of us just blindly just follow whatever people tell us, especially when we just like find that we don't know ourselves as well, or even that we thought, or as we like hoped we did. So just somebody who is 40 years old, who feels like I'm like 400 years old. Again, that's a whole nother illness of just like, I just remember past lives, I guess. But, it's just, if you want to call me insane, then yeah, I'll just sit down and I will sit here and just let you call me insane until I have the opening. Just be like, look, I just meant every time I do a profile of a person, I just feel like, yes, I've taken that life with me, So I'm sorry if that's insane to you, but, like I said, it's just been like a game sometimes. But at a certain point, I got to where it's just like, I'm done with this game. And I started doing, okay, like, I can only give people the same amount of treatment. And then I had to develop a baseball system where it's like, all right, 3 strikes, 4 balls, and then I'm out. I'm walking. Like, that's how I gauge, like, all right, I this is just not for me. I try to do it gracefully, but sometimes people don't get that. And then I have to just be, I've come to the point where I'm like, oh, just to let you know, like, that didn't bother me. That's strike 1. So that's how I evolved. Or that's ball 1. No, I say strike 1. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, look, just, this is my personality. And it's just, I'm just old. I have not, time is very precious to me. I try to do that gracefully, but I'm just like, okay, here's me introducing my authenticity and just seeing if you're going to receive it and just being, yeah, it's a strike. But hey, this is me just first letting you know that this is the game I'm playing. Which again, in my relationships, I'm just like, yeah, I'm good because I'm my authentic self and I know how to just find the authentic self in them. And they're all like thrown off. And I just don't have the time I didn't have the time to just do that because I was just, like I said, I'm like, oh my God, I'm sick of taking the blame. Yeah, I'm the blame. So let's figure out why I'm to blame. So if you are asking, okay, how did this guy? Baby, I'm listening. There you go. I just put it all out there. And then, yeah, like I said, I'm here. People who know me, like, oh, are you on like strike 3? There's only been 2 people who I had to freaking just say, that's it. Like, I can't believe you actually, like, you got full count and you just still chose to strike out. And then they call me back like, hey, like, I'm just so sorry. Like, it's just like, that's cool. Like, now this is strike 1 of the overall, like, hey, so many of these I can take, but at a certain point, I'm going to be like, you're just my tenant. Stop thinking I'm just like some friend you can just vent to at this point. So, again, none of this is just ill will. This is just the passion in my voice about this because, again, once we get over just these words or just come to an understanding of what it means when we say like, yeah, like, God is love. You're just like, I believe in God. I believe in love. We're one nation under God, under love. In love we trust. But then when we just say God, God means it triggers so many different things to people, negative or positive. And so this is where that disconnect. So as a comic, narcissist, a unlicensed, uncertified, yet very passionate, self-educated person on mental behavior, mental development, and disorders. Just know that this is just authentic, real advice. And I know that if you honestly, truly, truly hear what I'm saying, or when you get to the point that you truly, truly hear what I'm saying, yeah, you'll realize just like, wow, and I'll probably be dead by then. So just click the like, and maybe I'll visit you in a spirit form. Either way, okay, let's see what month 10 and month 9, etc.